Welcome back to the 2006 offseason. Last time we talked about the quarterback changes. Now we'll move into the running back changes for the league. Jerome Bettis here signs with the San Francisco 49ers. Had an underwhelming performance in Pittsburgh the last few years, but will now be that bruiser back with Frank Gore in California. Thomas Jones is now with the Buffalo Bills. The Arizona Cardinals running back was not so dynamic, but we will see if he gets a chance there in Buffalo to meet his potential. Get some highlights there as we see him trucking his way through. Next, Travis Henry is joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Leaving Buffalo, TJ Duckett, the Falcons running back, is now joining the Cleveland Browns. So he'll be in the backfield with Cadillac Williams, the rookie from last year. Had a great performance there as a bruiser back, but Marion Barber is going to get more touches with the Falcons heading forward. Priest Holmes leaving the Kansas City Chiefs for the Dallas Cowboys, a veteran running back there with Steven Jackson. Also, the Chiefs had those two young running backs, Dominic Davis and Bell. Lamont Jordan over there signing with the Washington team, leaving the New York Jets. Jets will be likely going with Brandon Jacobs moving forward as their main running back unless they draft someone or pick anybody else up. Ricky Williams leaving the Dolphins to head to the Arizona Cardinals to fill the void that Thomas Jones just made. That veteran will be very appreciated. Stephon Davis signing with the New York Jets, leaving as the backup role there in St. Louis. A few other halfbacks there. Fred Taylor, the main running back, that is going to be off, going to the Dolphins. Now here we have some wide receivers. Rod Gardner signing with the Chicago Bears. That'll be an interesting pair there with Rich Gannon. So Gannon gets another weapon here to throw to, and we'll see how that dynamic plays out in the NFC North. But he was a number one target there in Washington despite all the chaotic QB controversies at the time. So looking forward to playing with him in Chicago. Next, Antoine Randall L. signing with the Cleveland Browns, leaving Pittsburgh. Now this is a reuniting move for Bill Cowher, who's the Cleveland Browns head coach. And so we'll see Antoine Randall L. in the orange and brown coming up this next season, likely due to that past connection with the Bill Cowher of the Browns. And I was watching that play there, that tipped pass leading to a touchdown. We'll likely see a lot of good plays there. Charlie Fry now is a great weapon, and they also have a return man to go up with Joshua Cribbs in the backfield for those returns. Also going to the Browns is Placico Burris. So the Browns hit gold there on the two wide receiving options. Both of them played for Bill Cowher years ago. Burris had some years there in New England as the dominant wide receiver there for Tom Brady. But the Patriots are in cap hell, and they were not able to bring Placico Burris back. The Browns were able to make an offer that he went all crazy for, and he had a lot of other teams vying for his services, and he decided to go to Cleveland. So that's an interesting wide receiver room with the Browns. You have Randall L., Placico Burris, Nate Burleson, and we might even see them draft a wide receiver coming up as they have a few receivers leaving them, and we'll show where some of them land coming up. But a big transformation there for Cleveland this offseason in the free agency, adding Duckett, Randall L., and Burris. Next, we have Joe Jarovicius, who was with the Browns last year, always wanted to play for the Browns, and now he had his chance, but only one season with them, is reuniting with Tampa Bay Buccaneers to help support John Gruden and Kyle Bowler as the Buccaneers try to reclaim their relevance. Ashley Lilly, I believe that's how he said, is joining the Arizona Cardinals, leaving Denver. There he's going to be paired with Andre Davis and David Boston, being thrown to by Michael Vick. Brian Finneran, one of the main receiving targets there in Atlanta, is joining the Dallas Cowboys as sort of that slot receiver, possession receiver that he is. So we'll see if he helps that wide receiver core in Dallas, him being paired with Braylon Edwards. Next, we have Andre Davis leaving the Browns to go to the Miami Dolphins. There he'll be partnered with Steve McNair and a very young wide receiver core in Miami. You look at Michael Jenkins and Bryant Johnson and now Andre Davis. Next, we have Eric Moulds leaving the Panthers after one season to join the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel this is a great addition for the Eagles. They have needed a solid receiver, a top guy, and Eric Moulds gives them that. They have failed to this point to get McNabb a dynamic receiver, and the Eagles believe that Moulds can be that guy. Next, Javon Walker leaving Green Bay for Washington. An interesting move here, but that's the move he decides to make. He wants to go to Washington, maybe play in the Capitol. Now here's an interesting one. Santana Moss signing with the San Francisco 49ers. Moss caught fire last season with rookie Alex Smith, but he decided he did not want to return to the Jets. I guess he didn't accept the offer, wanted too much money. And so he decided to pursue other options. Now in San Francisco, he'll be with Reggie Williams. He'll also be catching passes from Drew Brees. And I think Drew Brees is going to really appreciate this option on offense. And I definitely look forward to seeing how that dynamic plays out. Because Santana Moss has been that explosive wide receiver he was expected to be. I mean, look at some of these highlights, these deep plays, long throws, run after the catches. Interesting dynamic there in San Francisco going to be taking place. We also have Wayne Chrebet signing with Jacksonville Jaguars. Had a good campaign there with Dallas, but more of a slot, slower receiver. Next, we have Dante Stallworth leaving the Saints after being underutilized, and he's kind of replacing for that Jets wide receiver room where Santana Moss left that void. Stallworth tends to fill that spot. Next, the number one receiver on the Eagles was James Thrash. And Thrash is not very highly rated overall-wise, but he did have a lot of catches, a lot of touchdowns, but he is leaving Philadelphia and he is joining the New England Patriots. Patriots needing to bolster that wide receiver room after losing Placico Burris. They need that other guy to help support Tom Brady's passing game. Patriots also lose Daniel Graham, so we see the need for New England to really help their offense with Brady, as they have Curtis Martin, who's a great running back. Burris was a good receiver for them, but now they are able to add James Thrash, who's a great addition to a powerhouse offense. And we'll likely see Thrash thrive with the Patriots, just like he did with Philadelphia. But I guess he wanted to change in scenery, did not want to return back to the Eagles. Eagles moving on with Moulds as their main guy. Looking forward to seeing how these moves alter the league's momentum. Next, we have Josh Reed signing with the Oakland Raiders from Buffalo. Again, this is where we see Oakland trying to help their passing game. So Kerry Collins now has another option here with Josh Reed. Bills, we'll see how they try to replace him. He wasn't one of their top guys, but again, they'll definitely need to replace him as he was a contributor on their offense. Derek Mason signing with the Baltimore Ravens like he did in real life around this time. So interesting move here, giving more of a receiving threat for Baltimore. Jabbar Gaffney, the Super Bowl touchdown catch that he had 3 years ago, isn't enough for him to stay in Houston. He is now off to the New Orleans Saints to kind of replace Dante Stallworth and to give that other wide receiver option there for New Orleans. Kelly Campbell, the explosive third-string receiver for the Vikings, is off to Pittsburgh after losing Burris and Randall L. They needed to get somebody else in there to help out. Quincy Morgan also leaving the Browns. As we said, they are having an overhaul with their wide receiver room, but he is joining the Houston Texans. I think that's a good fit for him, especially with the team that needs some wide receiver help there in Houston. Quincy Morgan is going to be a good fit for Derek Carr or maybe Brian Grease if, again, he does get that chance to start. Richie Caldwell leaving San Diego to go to Minnesota. We'll see if he can have that same impact or similar impact as the previous receiver moving on, Campbell. But again, they have Vincent Jackson and Randy Moss, so Caldwell will be more of a role player on this team. And so there you have it with most of the wide receiver changes. There are a few more that we'll just touch up on right here to finish off this video. Michael Lewis going to San Diego, and then Lee Mays going to Dallas. We'll have another video coming up for the Titans and a wrap-up of all of the free agent changes this offseason. Thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed this presentation of the offseason.